Joining us is the Assistant Treasurer and the Financial Services Minister, Stephen Jones. Stephen, good to see you. Thanks for your time. Apologies in advance here because your boss is on the move this morning. He's about to do something with Mark Butler. So if we've got to go all of a sudden, I do apologise that. But in the meantime, we will proceed. Mortgage belts, they're going to tighten right up until Christmas. You've announced a number of policies, all of which are long-term. But what are the short-term answers here?
Look, the most important thing is that the independent Reserve Bank, which manages monetary policy, we've got to ensure that we're doing nothing as a government in our fiscal policy, in our budget strategy, which is fanning the flames of inflation. The Reserve Bank is not lifting interest rates for the hell of it. It's lifting interest rates because we've got a crisis with inflation. We've got to bring it under control, otherwise we'll be facing prices doubling over the next year. Right. We need to ensure that we're bringing prices under control. Government's got a role to play in that by not fanning inflation by loose fiscal policy. So our strategy and what Jim will be announcing, the things that Jim will be doing in the October budget will be a responsible budget, ensuring that we keep the budget pressures down. OK, but I mean, that's another month away. Have you got to level with the Australian public here and admit that there is actually no quick fix, that people are just going to have to cop it? Look, we've been very upfront with the Australian people that inflation is the number one objective. We've got to bring it down. That'll take a few months, so we expect by the first quarter of next year, we'll start to see this turn around. It'll take a combination of monetary policy run by the Reserve Bank, independent of government, and what we're doing with our budgetary policy. We've been very upfront with people that this is likely to occur. We'll do some things that we can do, and the Prime Minister's up this morning. I won't preempt what he's got to say, but there are some areas where we're trying to provide some relief to households. But the number one thing that we shouldn't be doing is making a bad situation even worse through loose spending like the previous government did. Right. I mean, there's going to be changes around medicine. We've already seen some movement around pensioners as well. I mean, but that across the board's not going to have a huge effect, is it? Well, I beg to differ. A significant movement up to $30 a fortnight for pensioners. That's serious money for a lot of pensioners, one of the biggest increases that they have ever seen. And I think it's important to understand we are doing what we can to help the most vulnerable Australians and the people who are doing it tough. So our first move to ensure that we got a significant shift in minimum wages. This week, and seeing we get a shift in pension payments and those who are doing it tough on unemployment benefits, they are the most vulnerable when cost of living is going up and up and up. Yeah. But then secondly, ensuring that all of our strategies are not adding to the inflationary fire, and that we're working hand in hand with the Independent Reserve Bank. Sure. I mean, I don't want to begrudge the savings that people will have on medicine there, but there's inflationary pressures. The fuel excise is going to be returned. The Reserve Bank bumped up interest rates again yesterday. I mean, it's just going to get swallowed up, any saving that they make in the short term. We're not trying to sugarcoat this, Pete. We do know that Australian households are doing it tough, but the important thing here is we've got a strategy. We've got to fight inflation. The thing that is going to hurt households more than anything is seeing the price of everything going up and up and up with no strategy to turn it around again. Yeah. So that's what the inflation fighting strategy is all about. Government's got a role to play in its budget strategy, and that's what we'll be doing through responsible, tight fiscal policy. The Greens want Philip Lowe to resign, should he? Look, I don't think it helps to be playing the man on this. Of course, people, the Reserve Bank and the Reserve Bank Governor are not beyond rebuke. It's a free country. People can, pass judgment on the decisions that the Reserve Bank is making. But I think in the immediate term, we've got an inflation crisis that we've got to deal with. All focus is on that at the moment, doing what we can to help Australian households through some tough few months, focusing on next year, the fact that things will turn around. I don't think it helps in the middle of the crisis to be taking pot shots at the Reserve Bank Governor. I mean, the point being, though, that the man, as you referred to there, playing the man, I mean, it seems fair enough because whether he purposely did it or not, he misled people to think that they'd be having cheap loans up until 2024, as we all know. And then look at us now, we're at 3% in the space of a few months.
people have got a right to be pretty peeved about the key money man in the country.
Look, there's no doubt that small businesses, that households that made big decisions on the basis of that forward signalling of where interest rates were going to go, or where they weren't going to go over the next 2 years.
Sorry,
they would have made decisions.
I'm going to have to interrupt you, Stephen.
They'd have made decisions. It's just not going to hurt if we start taking pot shots right now at the Reserve Government.